Welcome to Comfort Zone, a podcast all about pushing your hosts, outside of their comfort zone. I'm Christopher Lawley, and each week I am joined by two incredible co-hosts, and this week, one of them is an app developer. As always, we are joined by Matt Birchler. Matt, how are you doing?
I feel like I'm going through a metamorphosis. I feel great.
Nice. And we're also joined by Niléane. Niléane, how are you doing?
I'm doing well. Why do you ask? Is there a reason not to be well?
Just checking in on you. You're a friend, just checking in, making sure you're doing good.
Sure, yeah.
What are your motives, Chris? What
are
is this
your
question
motives?
about?
Do you want to remind me of the worries of the world?
No,
Right
it's
now.
just being friendly,
We've broken the intro.
Nothing
Oh no.
nefarious. we've broken Chris' brain. Let's
I'm
see
doing
here.
well.
All right. Well, we got a couple of tiny topics. Matt, you put something in here, and I'm curious because I have something that can piggyback off this.
Ooh. So a few weeks ago, you mentioned you had switched from things to reminders for your task management, and I was like, let's give it a shot. And I used reminders for almost a month as my task manager. And I'm here to say I am back on things, more enthused than ever about it. I get why people use reminders. It is definitely better than last time I used it. But my God, I love things.
This
And
is
that's-
now a long-running thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, so I'm still using reminders. I like it for the most part. There are things that infuriate me, like how long it takes to add metadata to reminders, the way they handle subtasks, that really horrible SF rounded font. There's just a lot of things in reminders that really frustrate me, but I'm still liking it for the fact that it has the Kanban board built into it. Like if things would just add that, I would be so flippin' happy. But that Kanban board view in reminders is so handy. I have talked about one of the things that I love about things that no other task manager yet had replicated was the fact that there was both a start date. So like you would go in and schedule, hey, this task, I'm working on this task on this date, but there's also a separate deadline date. Todoist has added deadlines since, and I'm like, the meme of the guy holding the girl's hand, but then he's like he's looking behind at the other girl. That's kind of me right now with Todoist. I'm enjoying reminders. I'm working on my reminders video, but Todoist has both the Kanban board view and the deadline feature view, which are the two big things that I want in a task manager. My only issue is I've never really liked Todoist's UI and UX. I don't think they're very good.
Yeah. Its natural text entry for tasks is really good, though.
Yes, it is. That is my favorite feature of that app.
Could you give me just the elevator pitch on what the difference between a due date and a deadline is in a task manager?
So I think for most people they wouldn't use this, but for me a due date is, hey, I'm starting on this. So I do this with video projects a lot. Video projects for me are a multi-day thing.
Okay.
So I'm going to start working on this project on Monday, but I need to finish it by Wednesday. So that's what I like that for, because then I can kind of lay out like, hey, this is what I'm working on this week. And I can see like, okay, I'm working on this video project Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then I'm going to work on this one Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
Okay, that makes sense. I think I was radicalized at a young age to that all your tasks should be things you can do like in one sitting. And so everything I have in things is something I can do in one sitting. If it's going to take more than that, that's a project. That's something else. So we use the app differently, it sounds like.
Yeah, I used to break video projects down into each step and be like, okay, write the scripts, now film the A-roll, now film the B-roll. And it was just like, I don't need this. It was just adding a bunch of extra tasks to my task manager. I just need one task that is reminders video or iPad Pro apps video or something like that. Like I just need that. And then I have the Kanban system to move that project, to its various steps.
Okay, makes sense.
Yeah. And then one last tiny topic. Have you guys listened to App Stories yet? This latest one with Devin.
I haven't, but I've seen the ramifications of it.
I haven't.
Yeah, so I walked away with a bunch of homework from that episode.
You always
just
seem
from
to.
the plus one, just from the plus segment, I walked away with homework, and I wasn't even on the episode.
Well done.
there's a few things. I'm not going to spoil it all. Go listen to the Plus episode. But there is one thing. They talked about my beverage of choice preferences. Video people, Dr. Pepper, zero sugar with cream soda right here. But John wants me to try this thing called Cheerwine, which is apparently a kind of sort of Dr. Pepper-esque cherry cola drink. I have never heard of this. It's very much an East Coast thing. I have some on order. He wanted me to try it on the show, but it's not going to get here until later today. So, and we couldn't push the recording, so we weren't going to push the recording for that either. But it'll be here by the time the next episode comes. So I accept your challenge, John. I will drink it on air on the next episode. I promise. It is a sugary cola drink, and I haven't had one of those in like over 10 years because I always go for the zero sugar version. Yeah, so that'll be really interesting. But I did listen, and I do accept your challenge, John.
Why every time I hear about a beverage from the US, it's worse than the previous one?
Because you started with the best,
Okay,
and it only
sure.
goes downhill from there.
Okay, well done.
Yes, for the audio listeners, I was holding up Dr. Pepper, of course.
Yeah.
All right, you guys ready to get in the main show?
I am.
All right. Well,
Why do you ask, Chris? Why would I not be ready?
Well, this week we're going wild because one of us doesn't just have an app to talk about. One of us made an app to talk about. Matt, what did you do?
Oh boy. So I brought this app and I'm really disappointed by it. No, I made an app.
I hear it has a subscription.
It does have a
Unsubscribe.
subscription. I see the dislikes coming in already.
Was it free before is the key?
Well, it didn't
I mean,
exist
it was
before.
for me. I had the test flight.
There you go.
Chris, it's always you with the 1-star reviews. Yeah, so I released an app just this past weekend as this episode goes out. It's called Quick Reviews, and the elevator pitch for it is it's a simple little app that lets you create short little reviews for the things that you enjoy: movies, books, games, TV shows, whatever, and lets you create this nice little image with your review, with a score, with the book cover, the movie poster, whatever you want in it. So it looks really nice, and you can post it to social media. And I've been doing this for years, and I kind of wanted to go over the history of how this came to be, because it just is a project that keeps evolving from like very MVP to a fully fledged like piece of software. But yeah, it's a thing I made for myself, and over the years, people have asked if they could do it as well, and so I've more and more made it a thing more people can use.
Did you do any sort of like time tracking, or do you have like any sort of notes on how long it took you to go from blank Xcode project to shipping to the App Store?
I don't know how many hours I spent on it, although my wife will tell me that I've had my laptop in front of me more than any point in our entire marriage over the past month.
Okay.
Because I have been working on it. I mean, once the balls started rolling and it started working and functioning, it became a little obsessive. I became a little obsessive with working on it. As you probably saw in the beta, there were like daily betas with like new features every day for a while.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, you were doing great with that. Like I was always opening the app to see like new test flight notes.
Mm-hmm.
I had to turn off test flight notifications for your app, but that's good. Well done.
Yes, they'll be much slower now, but yeah. So the start date, when you create a new Xcode project in like the content view file, I think whatever the base view file is, there's a little comment at the top with like, the app is called this, it's by this person, and it was created on this date. Mine was created on January 6th, 2025, and I shipped it on February 2nd. So less than a month from zero code to on the App Store through App Review. And it would have been a week earlier if App Review had let my first submission go through. It took a week to get through App Review, but we'll get to that.
Well, because you're a real developer now. That's actually really fast. Like that.
It's so fast.
That's very fast. And I know like you kind of already had the the idea of the layout and all that stuff of like the review cards and stuff like that, like you kind of had a little bit of a head start, but you still were starting from a blank Xcode project. It's not like you could just copy and paste the website into
very much not.
I say that, but I'm like, I guess you could have made an Electron app, but whatever.
No, so it is because our listeners will like to know this, it is 100% Swift. It's 100% native code. It's written, the UI is all done with Swift UI. And there's not a single React native element in there. There's no web views. It is all as native as I could possibly make it. So in the GitHub project, it'll shows you like a breakdown of what the code types are in the project. It is 100% Swift. So
that's awesome.
If you're into that,
Nice.
it does that.
That's pretty cool.
It would have been a lot easier to make an Electron app, though. Yes.
How was working with Swift and Swift UI for this? I know we talked about it a little bit a couple episodes ago, but I'm just kind of curious now that you have a shipping product. Was it something you enjoyed? Are there more iOS apps on the horizon? What's going on?
Are there more iOS apps on the horizon? Probably. I've got the bug, so we'll see. But it was easier than the last time I tried to work in iOS when Swift was relatively new, and I was using like what is it called? Artboards, or I forget what they're called. Layout was insane.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
So
I forget what it's called.
Yeah. Oh man, I forget what it's like. Whatever it was, I really struggled to understand it coming from like with the web design world, and Swift UI is definitely better. Like I'm creating like stacks of things, and then you put the things in there and they automatically lay out for you. And Swift UI handles a ton of this for you, which is really, really nice. Like I didn't have to worry about device size classes or anything. Like really nice. And it's kind of like CSS once you kind of understand how it works. But yeah, I would not say it's the most intuitive thing I've ever used. HTML is the most intuitive thing. HTML is wonderful. I love it. But as far as iOS development goes, Swift UI is pretty good. I know a lot of advanced developers don't like Swift UI, and they're really driven crazy by it because it doesn't let you do a lot of things. But I kind of went into it with the mentality of like, I'm just going to see what it can do, and I will work around whatever it allows me to do.
Maybe this is me projecting a little bit, but I hear a lot of these like older veteran iOS, macOS developers complain about Swift UI, and it reminds me a lot of when Final Cut Pro 10 came out, and a lot of veteran professional video editors complained about the magnetic timeline. Including myself, because it was just something that was different and it wasn't exactly what they were used to. And like, yes, it wasn't fully thought out. It's not all 100% there, but it also doesn't have the, 20-year history of Objective-C and all the other stuff. So I could understand why people complain about it, but also I can see it being, hey, yes, this is new, it's rough, but it's probably the future because ultimately it's going to be a lot easier, like you said, because it does a lot of the work for you that you don't have to do.
Yeah. I think the more advanced your application is, the more challenging it is. I don't think I'm supposed to say who told me this, but someone who works on a very popular Mac app for professionals, their company tried to use Swift UI. They wanted to use Swift UI, and it was an absolute non-starter for them in its current form. Like it doesn't have the flexibility. So yeah, I don't feel nearly qualified enough to comment on for everybody, but yeah, there's definitely a few rough edges in the app, and I have no way to fix them because that's just what Swift UI does. And I guess if they were bigger issues, or if I cared more about those tiny little details, it would be more of an issue. But I would say I generally liked working with it. It was easy to get up and running, which was good for me.
How has the reception been with the app? I know you weren't initially going to release it until this morning, but
yeah,
some people found it on the App Store, and you're just like, well, I guess it's out.
Yeah, so I tried to do the smart thing that developers do, where they just actually release it like hours or a day before they like announce that it's out, so that it propagates through CDNs and everything. And Yeah, somehow, and I was like, nobody's gonna be looking for this app. It's fine. And I think I replied to someone's post that I meant to make it a private response and actually made it a public response where I said the app finally passed app review, and then people found it, and I saw someone link to it in a Mastodon post, and I private mentioned them and said it's not really out yet. Please, I didn't mean to have it out yet. And then before I could even like get through the rest of my mentions, like 2 other people had done it, and I was just like, the cat's out of the bag, it's done. So I just unscheduled my post for the following day, posted it, and it was out there. So the reception's been great. Like, I'm really, really happy with the reception. I made myself a little analytics dashboard on my website that I can see how many reviews are being posted. So there's been like 400 reviews created so far, which is very cool in the first like 24 hours. It's been quite positive. I had a typo in one of my one of the promo images that are on the App Store. I reviews was spelled wrong. I missed the second E or something. That was the number one piece of feedback I got was, hey buddy, you got a typo in your App Store listing, which
You know what?
Yeah.
That's not if that's the worst piece of feedback you got, that's
worst.
really
Absolutely.
not a bad day. Like
Now,
that's
the frustrating thing is that you can't just go in and swap out that image. You need to submit a new build. So I have submitted a 1.0.1 build with a couple little changes in it, but mainly it's to change the stupid image. And it's in app review. It's been in app review for almost 24 hours now, and I don't know when it's going to get approved, but hopefully by the time this episode goes out.
That's kind of surprising because, once usually the app passes the initial review, like the subsequent updates go pretty quickly, but
I would think so. It's waiting review, I should say. I submitted it for review yesterday afternoon.
Okay.
It's currently lunchtime on the following day, and it's still waiting for someone to pick it up in the queue.
Actually, it's 9 o'clock
No.
Apple Park time. It's 9 a.m. People are just getting in.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah, I don't remember where app review is anymore, but I think it's moved around or something. I don't really remember. But do you want to talk about, because we talked about this privately, the 3 of us, but do you want to talk about your issues getting it onto the App Store?
Yeah, so I submitted and was rejected 4 times over the course of a week, which was very fun.
You should get some kind of a plaque for that or something.
I know. And the tough thing is,
shirt.
Yeah.
I submitted my app to the App Store, and all I got was the stupid shirt or something. I don't know.
I would buy it. I would absolutely buy it. It was almost all about subscription stuff. One of the challenges is they only tell you the first. It's like a program that like fails, and then the log message is just the thing that broke, but you don't know what else is broken after that. With app review, as soon as they find something, at least in my experience, as soon as they find something, that's when you get the rejection, and that's the reason. But if there are other reasons, you will not know until you submit again and they get past that point. So I had the first one was totally my fault. I didn't have a restore purchases button on the subscription page or on like the sign up page, because in my testing, it just automatically found it, and there was no need for it as far as I could tell. But like you would install the app again if you were already a paid subscriber, and it would automatically pull your App Store subscription status. But you are required to have a restore purchases button, so I added that. That was pretty easy. The second rejection was for metadata missing. So I didn't link to my privacy policy in App Store Connect, so it wouldn't show in the App Store, except I did. It was there. It wasn't missing. I don't know why they didn't see it. So that was a 0 change resubmission because it was there. So that one was annoying. Another one, there was just something, when you first create a subscription, the subscription goes through app review separately from the app. I don't understand why, and it was very unclear how you even do that, because there's no way to submit the subscription for review. You have to have localizations for it in multiple languages, or even if you only have one language supported, you have to create a localization for that language. Long story short, their forms for this have no like validation that tell you what fields are required, so you kind of have to figure out which ones are required. Anyway, that was rejected for that. The last one was a classic one, apparently. This was the one right before it was approved. It was I was told that they tried to hit the subscribe button and it failed. And so I was like, oh, the subscribe button just doesn't work, even though it works for all the test flight users. It works for me in the sandbox, but it didn't work for app review. And I was like, what could possibly be going on? Everything looked totally fine. And the feedback I got from other developers was the sandbox is flaky, even for Apple. It may just fail randomly. And just rebuild the project, increment the version by 1, resubmit the exact same app, and it passed. And that's what's on the App Store right now. And as far as I can tell, everything works great. So Sandbox is very, very funky. Sandbox is also very funky because you can create Sandbox App Store Apple IDs. So you can sign into your test device with not your personal Apple account, which is good for testing because you're not just yourself. Those, it's unclear to me if those work in the simulator. They might only work on physical devices, but Apple's documentation is not clear on this. And the internet responses on Reddit and Stack Overflow and everything are inconsistent. So I have no idea if Sandbox accounts are supposed to work in the simulator or if they only work on hardware devices. They don't work in the simulator for me. And the reason it took me a week to pass app review is because that issue came up while I was in Orlando, and I only had my personal phone on me, and I wasn't going to sign out and sign into a Sandbox account on it to test. So anyway, after that, it finally was approved, and I pray that they all go smoother after this.
Well, I'm happy to hear that you are on the App Store. You are a big time iOS developer. I expect to see you at WWDC this year.
I am an iOS developer, which does feel cool to say.
Yeah.
The one thing I wanted to mention is I'm not a developer at heart. I'm a product person at heart. I like to make products, and I like to design things and test things and stuff. And I think the journey that this app has taken to come to the App Store is a very extended version of what happens a lot with products. And that's basically, this started in 2021, 4 years ago, around now. I started reviewing, I think it was books I actually started with. I was reviewing the books I was reading and posting images on Twitter at the time. And I did this with a sketch document. I had a sketch document with an artboard with the format. And then I would just, when I had something else to do, I would go to my Mac, I'd open the file, duplicate the artboard, just hide some layers, show some different layers, edit the text, edit the images, and then I would export that and post that, which worked, but it was inconvenient. It forced me to use my Mac. I couldn't do it from anywhere else, and I couldn't share it with anybody. But people asked me hey, how did you do this? Can I have this? Can I do this? And so I eventually shared the sketch document, which was fine if you own Sketch and if you had a Mac, and that is this much of the population who uses computers and uses social media. And so I eventually made the web app, and that was, I think, a really fun project, and that made it so that I could share the link with people, and they could use it. And so that was really nice to get people using it, to get feedback on that version of it. So I knew what people liked about it. I knew what they wanted. I knew what the limitations were. And so when I started the iOS one, I had all of this user research technically of people using a version of the product already. And I'd already confirmed that people are interested in it. So at least someone will want it when you release it, which is not always something you know when you start a new project. So yeah, I've been working on this technically for 4 years, even if it started as a sketch document and is now a native iOS app.
That's really cool. That's a really cool path, a really cool journey. I'm so happy for you. If you all listeners, if you haven't went and downloaded Matt's app, go check it out. You want to explain the pricing tier to people?
Yeah. So it is free. You can download it for free, and everything you could do on the web app that you've been doing and enjoying and loving for years, that's free. All that is still free. However, there is some cool stuff in the app that is behind a paywall. It's behind a subscription. It's $10 a year or whatever that is in your local currency. And basically, this unlocks 3 features right now. We'll see if it does more in the future, but three right now, just by software based on what it does now. Disclaimer aside. You got unlimited history. There's a history in the app. So on the web, it's just create the image and then you kind of there's no way to see what you've reviewed in the past. With this, there's a full like watch history, play history, whatever. It's limited to 30 days if you're on the free tier, but if you pay, you get unlimited history. You can import your Letterboxd reviews. So if you've been reviewing things on Letterboxd for years, like I have, you can export your data from Letterboxd. They give you a reviews.csv. You load it into the app, and it just loads them up, and you have all your reviews there. So you can go back and see what you reviewed and share images like that. And the one that I'm really, really proud of, honestly, is a feature called Magic Mode that will autofill basically everything for you, except for the review. You have to tell us what you think about it. But like one of the challenges of the web app that I've had is that it requires you to get all the stuff. So like if you don't know, maybe we'll make the chapter art one of the reviews so you can kind of see what this generates. But the idea is that you bring the movie poster, you type in the title, you type in the year it was released, the director, or whatever metadata you want to include. You give it a score, and then you write your review. But you kind of have to go do that. And even like me as like the primary user who knows what they're doing, I still have like 2 tabs open. I'm like tabbing between Letterboxd, and I'm like copying the poster to my clipboard and bringing it over and all that. And it's a little annoying. So what I've done is I've built an integration to, right now it's the movie database, which gets me TV and movies. But if you're entering one of those, you just type in the name of the thing, and it will automatically find the movie for you, format the title to make sure you don't have any mistakes or improper capitalizations, which drive me crazy, in there. It pulls in the year it was released, who directed it, and it also pulls in the poster, so you can get your poster there. You don't have to go anywhere else. You can do it all within quick reviews. And I found in my testing that doesn't always get it right. Sometimes it's not the first one you would expect, because this is basically doing a query to their API to search for movies. And sometimes the first result is the most popular. Sometimes it's not. Sometimes you're not watching the most popular version. So I had to build some logic around like how we guess which one you're looking for. Basically, there's we'll search for whatever title you enter, and then it'll search for that. It usually returns like 100 results or whatever, like for some search terms. But basically, I go through there and I rank them by popularity. There's a popularity meter not popularity. Popularity can screw you up if something's brand new. Vote count. So somehow in the movie database, people can vote for their rating for the movie, how much they like it. And whichever one has the most votes, I'm going to assume is the one you're looking for. And then it goes down to the least most likely. However, that also has issues because, what was it? I watched The Order last weekend, which is a movie that just came out last year. It's called The Order. Quite good. Stars Jude Law. Very good movie. However, when you search for The Order, the most voted on movie, the most popular movie on the database is Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix. So that kept coming in as the default, which isn't correct, but I can see why it would get there. But I had this with other titles as well. And so I've also implemented some logic that I'm still refining. We'll tweak a little bit. But if it's an exact match, that gets bumped higher on the list as well. So there's like a whole bunch of like logic in there to figure out what movie you assume or what movie I think you're trying to find. And it doesn't always get it right, so there's a fix button that just shows you, here's the list. You tell me what you watched, and it'll pull it in for you. So it's really cool. I forget exactly what I was talking about, just like what is Magic Mode, but yeah, Magic Mode is really cool. And I really, really like it. Like, I really love the web app. I think it's really good, especially on a Mac still. But I'm doing all of my reviews lately from my iPhone, just using quick reviews because Magic Mode makes it so easy to get everything. And it has alternate posters as well. So if you like to have a fun poster, not the default poster that everybody uses, you can do that easily as well. So yeah, it's really cool. I'm really, really proud of how Magic Mode turned out. I know people have asked already, will it work with other categories? One day. One day. I have a solution. Yeah, I have a solution for games. I have a solution that'll work there. There's an API that I can use. I'm going to be adding a review type for apps. Numerous people have asked for the ability to review software in it. That's not that hard to update. I have to change how the poster image works because it'll probably be an app icon you're putting there. But anyway, Apple's iTunes Store API will work with that. So there's ways to add some more to this. I just need some time to get multiple APIs. I basically have, for those curious, I basically had to make a function. It was originally just for movies. So I made this like model that basically does the API search with the movie database API, pulls in the data and fills it out in the software. But now I need to have multiple APIs that are different and behave differently and return different information. And so I kind of need to have an abstraction layer in the app that doesn't care what API it is. It will just pull in the correct information either way, which is all doable. But I am an amateur developer doing my best. So it's going to take a little while to get that in place.
You're a pro now.
Technically a pro. I feel like an amateur, so
Hey,
the imposter
will you
syndrome is kicking in.
I have seen a lot rougher and a lot worse version 1.0s by people who claim to be a much more senior iOS developer. So I'm impressed. I've been enjoying using it. I've used it for a few movie things here and there. I'm trying to get back more into movie watching. Yes. Danielle is not the biggest movie watcher. So we moved in together, and I used to watch a couple movies a week, and that went to basically almost no movies a week. And so I'm basically have told her, like, okay, you can go to the bedroom, read your book, watch a show, whatever, but there's a couple of nights a week I need to be able to watch movies. So
I support this.
Yeah, I love movies so much. So yes, this is great. I'm so happy that this is here. I'm so glad you have a great reception. Seriously, y'all, like it's a very generous free tier that you have. Like, if you're just looking for a way to review movies and shows and stuff like that, you don't really have to pay, though you should. Like, give Matt some money. He spent a lot of his time on this, but that's up to you. Yeah. Anything else you want to add?
The last thing I'll add is a privacy thing. I know, again, our audience is big on privacy. The app does collect analytics. However, they're very basic. And they are.
However, you sell them.
And I sell them. Yes. I don't actually care if you subscribe.
Facebook.
I really just need you to just put all your data in there, please.
Yeah.
So one of the core tenets of the web app that I was really proud of is it had zero server-side component. It was a fully local JavaScript app. So nothing you ever did in the web app left your computer. Everything like that was stored in local storage in the browser, and that was really great. So I had no idea what people were reviewing in the app. I have no idea if you're reviewing really shady stuff. Do whatever you want. It never leaves your device. I don't know what the shady stuff would be, but like,
okay, weird.
Yeah.
Yeah. Reviewing Comfort Zone poorly. That's shady.
That's shady.
Yeah.
Oh, a podcast type would be a new review type. Anyway, there's so many things you can review. But I was really proud of that. I really liked that. Like, it was a little inconvenient, but like I had no idea what people were using the app for. But I wanted to keep that going. And so in the iOS app, still, nothing you do leaves the device. Nothing that you write leaves the device, I should say. When you save a review, I do send a log message to my web server that basically just tells me what you did. Did you save a review? Did you export all your data? Did you import all your data? So not the data itself, just what did you do? And then I log a few things like, was it a movie, a TV show, a game? What was the media type? Are you on an iPhone or iPad? I'm also going to start logging what your accent color is in the app, because the app defaults to a pink accent, but who knows? Maybe most people don't want pink. We'll find out.
Yeah, let's talk about that.
Yeah, what do you think about the pink?
I think I'm going to leave a 1-star review on the App Store right now.
Yeah, I believe there was something promised.
Yeah, I've taken a look at this, and yeah, it's a scam.
What was promised?
There's no orange.
There's an orange accent color.
Let's
Niléane,
talk
I
about
believe we
the
were-
eye test, the color blindness color. What is it? The color blindness
What?
test? Yeah.
No, it's totally orange. It's literally in the code.
Do I need to?
The
do
color
I need to call
is
Dan?
orange. It is
We're
called
talking
orange.
about the one called peachy. Yeah.
Oh! I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying. Oh, that's not orange. You're talking about an orange for the review that's the image it spits out.
Oh, okay. I'm talking about the app. Yeah.
I was
The
talking
app.
about the UI, so the accent color for the UI.
Mm,
Mine, you can't see it right now, but mine is actually orange right now.
Yeah, I also believe there was a comfort zone theme promised. Yeah,
There was a comfort
what's
zone
up with that?
theme requested.
Yeah.
No, I
okay.
believe
There's
there was
an
something
orange.
promised.
Okay, I get what you're saying. There's an orange accent color for the
Okay.
app, but there's no orange
In the themes
for
for
the
the
themes.
reviews.
But you can
Okay.
make your own themes, so you're getting away with that. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Sure. I really wanted to blame this on them. Yeah.
Niléane, do you think I should just have Danielle, who, by the way, listeners, if you don't know, my girlfriend, she is an optometrist. Do you think I should just randomly have her pop on an episode one
Oh
of
my
these
God.
days and give Matt like a colorblind test?
I'll never live down that Synology icon.
I mean, he already took one, but I think maybe he cheated using ChatGPT.
See, that's why I'm like, maybe we should have Danielle pop on and see what's
okay.
going on here.
Yep.
Anyway.
And the orange
anyway.
theme is yellow, but sure.
Okay. Well, that's what iOS says is orange. It's literally called orange in the code.
Yeah.
I
No,
will
the
take
app
that
is
to note.
great. The app is great.
Oh, I forgot. The whole reason I brought up the analytics in
Oh.
the first place.
Sorry.
Oh.
Yeah.
The orange slander got in the way.
Yeah.
So what I've done with this is I've made a little dashboard for myself on the web. So there's a special URL at Quick Review's normal website, which I will not reveal, but I'm sure
Oh, is it?
spelunking
Okay.
individuals could find it if they were
Let me search for
curious.
it right now.
Yeah. no.
Oh God, I probably didn't do anything like no index, so Google probably just has it. But I have a little dashboard I made for myself that visualizes all of this in real time. Did you really?
No.
Oh. I was like, what?
Wait.
Oh my God.
No. Okay.
But I can see I have like it feels really corporate. It's really something else. I can see my KPIs here and everything. But I've got like a graph showing me how many reviews per day for the last 7 days. I've got like a big number that's like here's how many have happened in the last 7 days, and here's the change over the 7 days previous. And I'm so proud of it. It's so great. And I have pie charts for days.
I'm not listening to you. I'm just trying to find the URL.
Oh, as you should.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just trying to find it now too.
So it turns out, Matt, you can type anything.quickreviews.app and it loads the app, which is why I thought I got it earlier. So there you go.
All right. Yep. Now the rest of my week is going to be spent trying to hack into
Yeah.
Matt's
Oh my
analytics.
Yeah, let's hook up a software. One of those password finder softwares that hackers use.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. We just need to have something probe a bunch of subdomains and see what comes back.
Yeah, what's the
All
name of
right.
his dog? Do you know that? Just asking.
All right. Well, I have a couple of things for you guys. I have solved a couple of paper cuts this week. Actually, I solved a few paper cuts, but I'm only going to bring a couple to the show because that's what we got time for this week. The first one, I have complained a lot about Apple's trackpad, mouse, and keyboard about how you can only pair it to one device at a time. And I think I finally found the most obvious workaround ever that I should have thought of this years ago, and I'm kind of embarrassed I didn't. Just plug it in and leave it plugged in all the time.
To the dock.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
Oh my God. Ladies and gentlemen, Christopher Lawley.
Oh my God. I know. I hadn't thought about it either, but as soon as you said I have a solution and I hadn't thought about this and I can't believe I didn't, it immediately came to me too.
I'm a
Obviously.
complete idiot. I am just literally leaving a USB-C cable because I did secretly upgrade the Magic Trackpad to the USB-C version. Even though you totally can do this with the Lightning one, it really doesn't matter.
You monster. Keep the lightning alive.
You can just, I'll get to the USB-C thing in just a second.
Matt, is that a case on your trackpad?
No, it's just the naked
Okay, so-
trackpad, as
Oh,
God
okay.
intended.
I freaked out for a second. Okay.
So I have a USB-C cable going just straight from the Magic Trackpad right into the CalDigit dock, and then no matter what computer I plug into the CalDigit dock, the Magic Trackpad just moves over to that computer. So if I plug in my iPad, the Magic Trackpad is paired with my iPad. If I move over to the Mac Mini, it's paired to the Mac Mini. No more swapping trackpads on the desk, no more extra trackpads. I just have one. Well, technically I have two, but the other one's for Vision Pro, and that one doesn't ever really get used. But I just have one Magic Trackpad on my desk. It's plugged right in the CalDigit dock, moves over to whatever computer is primarily plugged in to the CalDigit dock. So nice. The one thing I did do is I ordered a fancy mechanical USB-C cable that looks nice, because if I am going to have a cable running across my desk, which it does, but because I have the monitor stand and stuff, you don't really see too much of it. I am just going to have a nice cable. So I have a nice cable coming. It's not quite here yet. But yeah, I solved that paper cut. I was really disappointed at how long it took me to realize I could obviously do that.
Is it one of those like coiled cables?
No, this one's just a straight one. I do have one of the
Okay.
coiled cable ones. I don't like those. I don't get why everyone...
Oh,
Oh, Chris, we finally agree.
well, they look cute.
They just have excess cable across your desks. I don't get it.
Fundamentally, yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
And then depending on where the USB-C port on the keyboard is, it may not line up right with your desk. It just doesn't look right. I don't know. I just prefer just like a normal straight USB-C cable, not these like right-angled coiled ones. Yeah, so that's coming. If you're curious, I got it from KBD fans. I will put a link in the show notes, so Matt can put a link in the show notes for you all.
Okay.
But that is the first paper cut I solved. I can't believe it took me that long to realize I could do that. I don't take the Magic Trackpad off the desk. It doesn't matter. It doesn't need to be wireless.
Yeah. It's great. I love it.
That was dumb. The other paper cut I solved. I have complained about the AirPods Max before. Yes, there are new USB-C versions. No, I am not going to spend $550 on a new pair of headphones just for that literally did not change except for swapping out the lightning port for USB-C. They didn't even change like the speaker drivers or anything, so like us nerds can argue about, oh yes, they do sound so much better. No, they don't. Like they didn't even do that. They literally just changed the ports on them. I'm not spending $550 on this. So what I did do is I found this on Amazon. It is a dock for the AirPods Max, and goes like this, okay? But right here at the bottom is this pin that plugs right into the lightning port. So this pin plugs into the lightning port in the AirPods Max, and you plug it right, you set it down on this dock, and your AirPods Max charge. You don't have to plug in a lightning cable anymore. You don't have to deal with a lightning cable. On the back, it has a USB-C port, and it also has a USB-A port for like output charging, so you could plug other devices into this.
Oh.
It's stupid cheap. It's not very expensive at all. It's not the most elegant solution. It's not the nicest looking solution. But you know what? I don't have to deal with a lightning cable anymore. I have no more lightning cables in my life. I've even got my girlfriend and my girlfriend's mom off lightning devices. The people that are in my household are all on USB-C.
Mm-hmm.
No
Brilliant.
more lightning cables. I know.
Hmm.
I feel free.
Okay.
Okay, I have a question.
Yes.
What color is your old Lightning Magic Trackpad?
I have the old one. Actually, I had two. I had the dark gray one and the black one.
Okay, so I don't want it. Okay, that's good.
Well, I also have the silver one too. But that's for the Vision Pro one. So.
Yeah. I'm always on the lookout for a colorful one. So
Oh yeah, no, I didn't have any of the iMac ones. I wish I had some of the iMac ones.
Yeah.
I really wish I did too.
I've looked at it on eBay. I've considered it. But it's just, I don't need another one of those things.
Regarding the dock for the AirPods Max, The little adapter, magnetic adapter, it comes with it?
Yes, it comes with it.
It comes with it?
Yes, so it just plugs into the lightning port on the AirPods Max, and there's a little connector on the dock, and they're magnetic. It snaps right in, and once it snaps in, it takes a couple of seconds, and it'll just start charging them.
That's smart.
Yeah, it's nice. And since I don't use these for podcast, or I don't use the AirPods Max for podcasting, I use the Bear Dynamic headphones that I have now. I don't have to worry about the world's worst, cheapest, most expensive cable ever.
It's a great cable. I love it.
I hate it. Oh my gosh. My girlfriend's mom's cat has confession time.
Oh boy.
I have probably bought 6 or 7 of those cables because my girlfriend's mom's cat keeps chewing them up.
This is why dogs are better.
Oh.
Yes. Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah, dogs never chew anything, Matt.
My dog doesn't.
No, dogs don't chew anything. Dogs are good boys.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, so, they're good boys.
So, Chris, I have a very serious question for you.
Okay.
Do you know what this is?
Hang on. Oh,
I saw
can't
him
do it on here.
I saw him pick it up.
So my backpack is right here. It's just on a trip, and
no.
I took my Vision Pro with me. I didn't use the Vision Pro once on the trip, which is another thing for another day. Maybe I'll link to an article I wrote in the.
We didn't say you picked up a white T-shirt.
I picked up. Yeah, sorry for audio listeners. I picked up a white T-shirt that is used. It is. So that's what I carried my Vision Pro in. Is that a worse carrying case than the AirPods Max carrying case, or is the
yes?
T-shirt? Yeah, which one is worse? Which one is worse?
Because the Vision Pro is $3,500 for the base thing and super fragile. These I have just thrown in my backpack, no case at all, and they're fine. Yes, T-shirt is worse. T-shirt is way worse.
You throw that in your backpack?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh,
yeah, I just throw these in my backpack. I don't know where the purse carrying case is. Could not tell you. It may have
when I
gotten thrown out.
complained about it a few months ago?
Yeah.
I think I like it.
No.
I changed my mind.
Why do you like it?
I realized that no other headphones have something like this.
Agreed.
And it's actually pretty nice to have. Like
No, but your reason for it being nice can't be that it's nice. What is the reason? What do you like about it?
Yeah.
You don't understand what I'm saying. I'm saying like any other pair of headphones that I traveled with in my life, I put them in my backpack and like cross my fingers that everything goes well with them. With the AirPods Max, they have at least a little protection that I can put on them. That's lightweight and that's not a bulky case.
That's true.
That's a
true.
good point, right?
I actually, I got to be honest. I think it does nothing, and I do agree with you, Chris, that they're tough enough. I
think it prevents
I would just drop
scratches
in the
on
bag.
the aluminum, right?
That's the only thing they're protecting is the hardest, most secure part of them. Like the top part is the thing that's totally gonna break. Like these now Apple totally did that case because it's a fashion statement. 100%. That is not a protective case. Apple did that because it's a fashion statement, and they wanted something to make it stand out, to be like, oh look, this person has an Apple product, because they knew these would be a fashion statement, and that's exactly what they've become. I don't care about fashion statements. I want them to fold up so I can put them in a proper case and stuff them in my backpack. All right,
so
I'm
mad.
done.
All I will say is that my case covers the entire product and protects it all, and it is not fashionable. It is very utilitarian. I stand by this. This is my most. I will die on
It's
this
not
hill.
utilitarian either, because it doesn't actually have any utility. It's a T-shirt. If you drop your Vision Pro in a T-shirt, it's still gonna shatter.
I'm not gonna throw it out of my backpack. It's in the bag.
I'm not saying you're gonna throw it, but I'm gonna say if you drop it, it's not going to protect it.
It just won't happen. Well, I have shoes on it. There's a whole system. It's really packed in there nice.
All right, we're moving on. My blood pressure's spiking right now. We're moving on. All right, we have a challenge. Niléane, it was your challenge. What do you got for us?
It was my challenge. So I asked that we all do something to our Apple TV setup. whatever it is, software, hardware, whatever you want.
Nice. What
Yeah.
what did you do? You want to go first?
I go first. All right. So I have an exclusivity from Switzerland.
Whoa.
Do you know that country? Do you know where it is on a map? I know it's hard for you guys.
Somewhere near the top. Yeah.
Near the top. Sure. Okay. Near the top. I want this to be the title.
They're the
Okay.
IKEA people, right?
Yeah. Anyway, so I've got an exclusivity from Switzerland because a few years ago, I don't know if you remember this because it kind of took off at some point. There's an ISP in Switzerland, a cable provider, and they're also like a cable TV provider, whatever. They're called Salt.
Oh.
And it was back when the Apple TV remote, Apple's one, wasn't redesigned yet. It was still the very thin one with
The
a
Siri remote.
touchpad. Yeah, it was
Yeah.
the Siri remote with just a touchpad and like 2 buttons on it. I don't remember. No, like 2 buttons less than the current one. And everyone hated that remote, so much so that this carrier in Switzerland, because they do this thing where they ship an Apple TV to all their customers, like it's part of their offer, apparently.
Mhm.
So you subscribe to their offer and you get an Apple TV. It's part of it. So much of their subscribers, customers, were unhappy with the real Apple TV remote that they went ahead and made their own Apple TV remote and shipped it instead of Apple's default TV remote, Siri remote, I guess.
I love this.
This remote they made, and I ordered it, and I was at the time,
Nice.
a few years ago, and I've still got it. And I thought for this challenge, I'm going to take it out and use it again. If you want to see what it looks like, I've got a link in the show notes, but I've also got it here right now. I'm going to show it to the camera. And next to the real Apple TV remote, the current one, the aluminum one, it's slightly taller, but it's not that big. The surface is soft, like it's silicone, and the rest is plastic. The body is plastic. It's got what is that? Rechargeable batteries that you can put in there. Regular AAA batteries or AA, I don't remember. And I think it's pretty good TV remote. I'm going to make the case for it right now. It's got extra buttons at the bottom. Especially, there are 3 of my favorite buttons that this remote has, which is jump ahead and jump back. And what these 2 buttons do is they let you jump ahead throughout 30 seconds or back 30 seconds or so.
Ooh, that's nice.
That's extremely nice. It means you don't have to mess with the scrubber on screen.
Oh, does that work with any app?
It works with any app. I've tried it with YouTube, with the Apple TV app, with Infuse, which I use for my Plex server, and for other apps as well. It works in any apps. Otherwise, the layout of the remote is pretty standard. It's actually an old school one because you may notice there is no home button on there. There's only a menu button, which is the back button, known as the back button now. This is annoying. And this is the one major flaw with this remote. There is no home button. So to go home, you long press the menu button, like in the old days.
Okay. Yeah.
So that works. However, how do you get to Control Center with this remote?
Oh,
Can you guess?
do you have to
On
On the regular
Siri?
TV remote, you long press the home button to get to Control
Yeah.
Center. On this one, ladies and gentlemen, you cannot go to Control Center.
You
It
cannot.
is
Okay.
impossible.
That's how they get you.
I'll tell
yeah.
you what. I forgot Control Center even existed on the Apple TV until
Oh,
just this
really?
moment. I don't even know what's up there.
Okay, we need it because my partner and I, we switch profiles every time we use the TV.
I tried to get
And
Danielle to do that.
Mm.
but
And you got to do
that
that
was a
through
no-go.
Control Center. Yeah. So that's too bad, which means I can't really use this anymore. Like this is too annoying. Not being able to get to Control Center is too annoying. However, this dates from a few years back. Salt, the famous Switzerland ISP, released a newer remote that they ship today with the Apple TV instead of Apple's remote.
Oh,
actually, now they don't ship it by default. I think it's an option.
okay.
So it's called the Salt TV Remote 2.0. I've also got a link in the show notes. And it looks a lot nicer. I don't have it. And it's got a regular home button, a back button, and like a D-pad, a regular D-pad. It looks pretty nice. It seems to be made out of plastic. However, it's got one downgrade. The two buttons that I really like, the jump ahead and jump back, are not there anymore, which I believe is like the best feature about the old Salt TV remote.
Does it work like the actual current Apple TV remote, where if you hit like the left or the right side of the D-pad, it'll jump back and forth? Like, because that's how the current Apple TV remote, if you hit like the left side of the D-pad, it'll jump back 10 seconds or 30 seconds or whatever it is. Does it work like that?
It probably does, but you know what? It's not the same thing. This is not what these buttons do. These buttons, like they immediately jump ahead and jump back without activating the scrubber on screen.
Oh.
So it's really useful. Like you're in a YouTube video, you press this jump back button, you're immediately back a few seconds, and like it continues to play. Whereas when you do this with the regular Apple TV remote, if you click the left button, it activates the scrubber, then you have to hit play again, and it depends on the apps. Some apps do, some apps don't. It's terrible. So anyway, I might get, at some point, maybe not, probably not, get the newer Switzerland TV remote, but I probably won't because it doesn't have these two really good buttons.
Interesting.
So there you go, an exclusivity from up there, like Matt said.
right at the top.
Right at the top.
Somewhere near the top there.
I like it. I like this a lot.
This is cool.
Matt, what do you got?
I too have used a new remote this week.
Okay.
Probably should have brought it to show it, but it is the TV or the remote that came with my TV. It is a Hisense something remote. So I took this challenge in a different direction, and I elected to not use my Apple TV once this past week.
That's definitely not what the challenge was, but okay.
Do something to your Apple TV setup. I threw it in the bin.
Okay. He's trying to not follow the rules.
I'm trying to never win. I will never win a challenge. So here's the thing. I really, really like the Android TV experience in ways I did not expect I would. Here's my question. When did you last use Android TV?
I've never used it.
Well, there you go.
It's been a couple years.
I've got a
I
Samsung
definitely
TV.
Yeah, I have an LG TV, so I have all the WebOS stuff built into it, but I had an Android TV box for some reason and hated the thing.
Yeah. So here's what I'll say. I won't go into the full review, but a couple things are really nice about it. Number one, your TV may not be good. If it has a slow processor, it probably sucks and it feels terrible to use. But for whatever reason, my TV, which I've linked in the show notes, which is a Hisense 65-inch something. It was the best value I could get for what I wanted a couple years ago. It has an incredible processor in it. And so things that I love about it. The UI updates at 120 hertz. Delightful. We've talked about high refresh rate a few times in this show, and it is very, very nice. Everything does this. The home screen UI, every single app, it's all super, super smooth and makes the Apple TV feel stuttery to go back to. So that's one thing that's really cool. The other thing that's really cool is on the Apple TV, you have the watch later queue, right? Which has all the shows that you're watching and movies as they come out, and it kind of has this queue that you can watch, and it's really nice. I really like it. Android TV has this as well, so all the apps integrate into it. But not all the apps. Netflix does not, because Netflix is...
What a surprise.
What a surprise. But here's the twist. Android TV allows apps to create their own watch list that you can optionally put on the home screen. So I do have my Netflix watch list right below my normal watch list. Is this ideal? No. But it is a way to get that watch list on my home screen, which is nice. It also lets me remove almost all of the marketing stuff. There's still some marketing stuff there, but on the like Apple TV app, it's your watch list in this tiny little sliver. And then above it is giant banners with what they want you to watch that are cycling through constantly. And below it is all sorts of things they want you to watch. But your little watch later queue that you control is this tiny little sliver. On Android TV, there's a smaller thing at the top with what they want you to watch. And then there's your watch queue. There's my Netflix queue. And then I've removed everything else. So I've removed basically all the advertisements from the home screen, which is nice. So I think the Apple TV UI is a little better overall. It's cleaner. It's a little nicer to use in some cases, but like Android TV is on competent hardware is right there, I think, in a lot of ways. And the remote. Having a remote with clicky, soft buttons, delightful. Having a play pause button in a place that is intuitive, delightful. It's been, how many years has this remote been out? The silver remote?
Why did they put it in the middle and not the bottom left corner? I don't get it. I know where you're going.
I have to look down every single time to remember which one is the play pause button, because it's not obvious what it is. And it's just, it's nice.
Talking about the regular remote, Apple TV?
The silver one,
Yeah, the new aluminum one where they put the play pause button between the mute and the go back button.
Yeah.
Which was dumb. Okay. That's a dumb position for that button. It should have been the bottom left corner. It should have been the bottom left corner.
Yeah. So anyway, it's fine. I don't hate that remote, but like the muscle memory just hasn't developed. Also, I'm not a fan of the trackpad on the remote at all. I wish I could turn it off, because I more often use it to accidentally, like you said, when like if I hit like the back button to go back 10 seconds, because the scrubber comes up on screen and like the scrubber responds to your finger. If my finger is even grazing it, I feel like I'm accidentally like scrubbing away.
You can turn it off, by the way.
Can you turn it off?
Yeah, we've done that.
Oh, I will do that immediately after recording.
My partner hated it from day one, and I turned it off years ago.
Yeah, it just works like a D-pad. Yeah.
Okay, well that's a good tip. I'll do that. Perfect. But yeah, so it's gone surprisingly well. I will continue to use the Apple TV probably just because it lets me AirPlay and stuff like that. So there are some advantages, and use the remote for my phone if I want to. So some of that is super convenient, and I'll keep using that. But if the Apple TV bit the dust and I had to use Android TV on this specific TV with good hardware, I liked it a lot. So yeah, I look forward to taking dead last, because this will not be a popular opinion. But I would challenge people: have you actually used it? I suspect not many have. But
that was a nice episode of Matt comes up with a new way not to follow the rules.
I followed the rules.
Nope. So what I did is I took this time to solve another paper cut of mine. When Danielle and I moved in together, she had an Apple TV. I had an Apple TV. My Apple TV went to the living room TV because it was the newer one. That you know, it now has the Snoopy screensaver and all that stuff. And hers got put in our bedroom. I am not a big fan of having a TV in a bedroom, but that's the only way she falls asleep. So I took this opportunity to kind of fix everything. So she was signed into her Apple TV as the primary, and I was the secondary user. On mine, I was the primary, and she was the secondary. So I went to the bedroom, made me the primary on that one, made her the secondary, and what I turned on was the feature that syncs the home screens. So this has been a feature that's been in tvOS for a while now, but this syncs your home screen. So all of your apps are there. All of your apps are in the same position. I don't know why this is just on the Apple TV. For the love of God, please put this on the iPad. This feature is amazing. It's fantastic. Everything. The two Apple TVs are essentially identical, except The one in the living room is the current generation 4K one, and the one in the bedroom is the previous generation 4K one. So it doesn't get Snoopy for some reason. I don't know why.
Oh, really?
It doesn't make any sense. Yeah, the
Oh,
previous
that's
only
sad.
like the newest one or something gets Snoopy, but the previous 4K ones don't get it.
I will say, as a household that's been using the Arial screensavers for years, a couple weeks ago we switched to the Snoopy one. Check out the Snoopy one. It is incredible television.
Look, I'm videographer and photographer. I love the aerial ones. I am not
course.
allowed to change back from Snoopy now. Snoopy is
Snoopy-
the only screensaver that is allowed in this
But
house.
you guys can never recognize the places, right?
No,
I can.
Since
Some
you're
of
so
them.
bad at
A good
geography.
there's a few of them
If
that
it's
I can
Switzerland,
recognize.
I know where it is.
Hey,
Okay.
there's a couple that are Yosemite, and that's basically my back door. So
Oh, that's true. It's basically
They're
like
very good.
2012, the movie.
I want to know how much Apple had to pay in order to fly a drone over Yosemite, because that's not something you are allowed to do. I want to know that
interesting.
figure.
Hmm.
Yeah, you can't do that in national parks. But yeah, anyway, so I set up the home screen syncing. I fixed it so that all the Apple TVs are the correct users. We don't do the user switching like Niléane and her partner do. I tried to show Danielle that. Not interested. So everything is just under mine. My watch later queue, I used to love that feature. It is now completely and utterly destroyed. So I use the app Sequel to keep a track of like the shows and movies I'm personally watching. But yeah, that's what I did. Yeah. So
Nice.
Yeah. Cool. Matt, I believe it's your challenge. You have a challenge for us this week?
I do, and I am setting myself up for failure once again
Why do
With
you
a-
do this to yourself?
with a
I like it.
callback challenge.
Okay.
I've pasted it into the doc. Find the best primarily blue icon on the App Store. So this is
So like 99.9% of all App Store apps are available.
so-
for
so-
Are
this
we going to
challenge.
do all the colors throughout the year?
so this is different. Last time it was find your favorite app with an orange icon, which all three of us followed the rules for. And then this one is I don't care about the quality of the app. So you don't need to just look at your
Oh.
phone. Who cares if this is the worst
Oh.
app in the world? I want the most aesthetically satisfying, most delightful blue icon,
Okay.
primarily blue icon. And I would bring two options in case the group disagrees that it is mostly blue. I say this
Okay.
from experience.
Do alternate app icons count?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, cool. All right,
Oh,
I already got mine.
Wait, what? No.
What?
What?
It's Matt's challenge. He can pick. He can do.
I think
whatever
they
he
should
wants.
challenge. I think this is the quest to find the best icon.
Okay.
And if it's
Okay.
an alternate icon, so be it. So be it.
Okay. And it just has to be primarily blue. Like there can be other colors in there, but primarily. And by
Yeah.
primarily, are we saying more than 50%, more than 60%?
I mean, I think we'll know it when we see it, but
Okay,
ideally,
all right.
yeah. I mean, like if it's like, so the things icon. I'm thinking
Yeah.
about the things icon. That is technically not 50% blue, but I would say that is a blue icon.
Okay. All right.
So it's going to be a little tricky, but I think you'll know it if you see it.
Okay. All right, cool. I've already got mine picked.
We will.
So
but you
excited.
won't.
I don't want to wait for this one. I'm so excited.
I'm looking at the
All right.
Synology Drive icon right now, and I'm wondering if that would qualify.
Turn
It's
it
a
blue.
greenish
Pixelmator.
blue. Okay. So that's the challenge. Good luck. It'll be tough.
Okay, nice.
Okay. All right. Let's wrap up the show. As always, I have an end of the show question for you. I want to know what your favorite new app that you've been trying out is, and it can't be Quick Review because we've already spent half the show talking about Quick Review.
Come
So,
on.
what's your favorite new app that you've been playing around with that isn't Quick Review? I can go first if you'd like.
Okay.
I've been playing with an app that John Voorhees just wrote about called Game Track, as kind of a new way of tracking games and like seeing what's out, what's playing, what's in my backlog and stuff like that. And it's a very, very well put together app. It's like reminders, but specifically for video games.
Okay, mine is a cop out, which means I will not say its name right now because it will be the topic that I bring next week.
Okay.
See?
Okay.
I'm teasing next week's episode. It works.
Okay. All right. So tune in next week to see the thrilling conclusion.
Now, ironically, I also cannot say my... But I do have a second. To answer it today. I do have one I plan to bring next week that I will not mention, but is very cool. God, I hope it's not the same thing. I hope it's not like the horse browser again, where we're like, I found a new browser. Is it a horse?
No.
The one I would mention is Linear, which is a project management, Chris.
Okay.
It's a Kanban system. It's what I've been using to manage my work with quick reviews. So I've been able to track all my projects there and move things through the board and get them out to production and all that good stuff. So really, really nice, and a generous free tier as well. So I haven't paid a cent for it, but I think after 250 tickets, I will have to. So hopefully not too many bugs, and I'll stay free. But Linear is fantastic. If you're annoyed by Jira or whatever at work, Linear is a very nice.
There are a lot of apps on the App Store called Linear.
Yep,
You just
that
send
makes
me a
sense.
link. So
Here's what I'll say. The iPad app is horrendous. I would use the web view on the iPad. Yeah, it is literally the iPhone interface just fattened out.
okay, then I think I found it. Yeah, I was
Yeah.
looking at this. I'm like, this can't be what Matt's talking about. Okay, all right.
Yeah, no, the web.
Well-
I have the web tab open right now, and it's very nice.
Well, that just about does it for this episode of Comfort Zone. Thank you all so much for listening. Do either of you have something you want to promote?
Quick reviews.
Yeah.
Please download
Yeah, yeah.
Check it out.
Go download Quick Reviews. That's just the general promotion from all of us.
Yeah.
Huge thank you to Mac Stories for having us. We are a Mac Stories podcast after all. Go check out all the other podcasts and writings and everything else that's there. From Shortcuts Archive to, membership podcasts talking about my soft drink of choice. I am the Pepper Daddy, of course.
Oh God.
And
I
Are you
forgot
going
to
to
say
say
while
that
I was
every
gone.
time now?
yeah, I meant to introduce myself as the Pepper Daddy, and I totally forgot. All right, well, I'm just going to wrap up. Thank you all so much for listening. Have a great day.